Yo, good day, and welcome to another episode of Father's Fire. My name's Jody Sedrick, and every week, as you know, we get together to explore the joys, the challenges, the triumphs, the sorrows, and yes, the fun of being a dad. And sorry, I'm a little bit late in getting this week's episode out. It has been a madhouse with snow and trying to get ready for Mobile Tech Expo and getting everything organized so we can ship, so we can get on the road. And tomorrow I'm supposed to be taking a trip to Dallas, but who knows? Maybe the weather's going to change that. Who knows? It's just been crazy. But all week, I've been thinking a lot about a post that I saw on Facebook earlier in the week that has kind of been itching at my heart. It's been itching at my brain. And I'm like, you know what? I got to share some thoughts about it. And basically, in a nutshell, this quote that was posted basically said, you know what? You need to carry your own burdens and let everybody else carry their own. And man, it really hit me kind of off. And I guess the reason why it hit me off is because over the years, I've realized how much I, as a man, need other men who have similar goals, similar visions, similar purposes. I need them in my circle, and I need them helping me move forward in a positive direction so that and holding me accountable so that I personally stay on track. And as I was thinking about this, I was thinking about an experience that I had years ago. My second son, Christian, him and four other boys, they had a 50-mile hike for their Boy Scout troop. And so, being the dad, I wanted to participate and go with my son. And so we loaded up the boys, me, TJ, Reed Young, Baumgartner Lance. Hold on, I'm getting his name wrong, so I apologize. Lanson. Um, and we were going to go up to the Frank Church Wilderness in Idaho, and it is rugged territory. And we started at 7,000 feet and started to climb that first day up to about 13,000. So a big climb. And one of the leaders that was with us, he got altitude sickness and he was really sick. I mean, he had no energy. His stomach was horrible. He couldn't breathe. He was wheezing. And we're like, all right, how are we going to help TJ um, down? And we had kind of complicated the situation because as we were going along the trail, we were about two and a half, actually, we are probably about 3 to 4 miles away from our destination, Buck Lake. And we decided to kind of take a shortcut. Um, and in order to cut off to get to a better place, hopefully for TJ and also the crew, it was getting late. And so we decided to go off course, which major mistake if you know anything about hiking in the wilderness. But we decided that we were going to cut our own trail, and we started off um, down this new trajectory down the side of the mountain, and then we were going to traverse down the side of the mountain down into this and into Pistol Creek area. And as we're going, man, we're climbing along the edge of this mountain, and we're just getting steeper and steeper and steeper. And poor TJ, I mean, he's hacking up, he's coughing, he's wheezing, he's trying to keep moving. We're trying to get the boys, together and keep us on the same track. And finally, I'm like, dudes, we got to stop. One, nobody knows where we are. We're off trail. And can I take a look at the map? Because it looks like we're heading into a worse situation than we were before. And so I get the topo map, and sure enough, the lines on the map are getting closer and closer together, which means that we're getting steeper and steeper, and it's getting even steeper in the direction that we're going. I'm like, dudes, we got to stop for the night. So we stopped for the night. We literally, the mountain was so steep that we had the kids pitch their tents against these trees so that they wouldn't roll down the hill in the evening, in the night when they're sleeping. And fortunately, I had a hammock, so I just stretched mine between two trees, and I was able to sleep level. But then the next morning, we got up, and TJ wasn't doing well, and I'm like, man, we got to get him off the mountain. So we decided to backtrack, get back on trail. We got back to the trail, and by then he was just so exhausted. And so we set up camp, had some lunch and dinner, let him rest. And we're like, all right, what are we going to do to help carry this burden that, TJ is himself experiencing because he's so sick, he's not doing well. And so we made the decision that we would cut our trip short and turn around and head back to the truck. Well, TJ had gotten so weak from the altitude sickness that what we did was we would have the boys hike ahead of us. They would take TJ, they would head off. Sorry, I want to make sure I'm telling the story. They would head off. They would set up a place where we could rest. They would drop off their backpacks. Then they would come back. They would grab TJ's backpack. And then Reed and I would literally walk step by step, arm in arm with TJ as we walked him off the mountain. And we literally did this a mile at a time. The boys would hike ahead, drop off their packs. They would come back, grab another pack. We would slowly walk with TJ, get to that point. We would rest. The boys would put on their backpacks. They would head off. Then they would run back, grab the backpacks. And we kept doing this little kind of leapfrog of carrying each other's burdens because literally we had backpacks of food that were supposed to last us for a week. And now we're having to kind of leapfrog the backpacks, leapfrog the support to get TJ off of this mountain. And it really brought to mind the power. And I remember I'm walking with TJ and we were going through this very barren section of the Frank Church wilderness where it had a big firestorm a couple years before, and it was just desolate, and I was so tired, and I was hot, and I'm walking and I'm listening to TJ's labor breathing. I'm like, man, how can I help him, and I'm doing everything I can, and he's a lot bigger than me, but he's holding on to my arm, and we're just walking step by step. And I thought about, as I'm walking side by side with TJ, I'm like, man, there's so much power in being able to serve my friend. He doesn't have everything within him to move forward in this journey. But if I can lend him some of my strength and be the strength for him as we're walking through this, and Reed and I would trade off, and Reed actually had kind of strained a bit of his hip. So he was struggling. So we were kind of in a very difficult situation. And I wonder how many times we as men go through life and we're out in the middle of this wilderness and we think that we have to carry the backpack on our own. We have to put all of the responsibility of our family, of our business, of our pursuing our own goals, and we put it all on our shoulders. And we never look to someone else for some help, for some guidance, for wisdom, for some perspective. This past year and a half, my brother's been going through kind of an ugly divorce, and he and I have had some great conversations. Sometimes I just feel this impression that I need to call him. And so I will call him or I'll send him a text and say, hey, brother, I'm just thinking about you. I wanted to let you know that I'm here for you if you need to chat. And sometimes he would pick up the phone and he'd say, oh, Jody, I'm so glad you called. And dude, it literally has been a day by day, week by week, month by month, moment by moment situation as they have worked through this divorce. And he told me, he called me up at Christmas. You know, I have 8 siblings, so we're all calling each other. And he called me and said, "Hey, Jody, I've sent you a present, and it's going to be a little late. I got it ordered a little bit late, but I wanted to send you this present to tell you how much I appreciate the load that you have carried with me over the past year." And so I thought I'd share this picture with you. So check it out. Oh, it helps if I actually turn it right side up. All right. So let me get that. When I opened this and I saw this picture, man, it just it touched my heart. And for those of you that are listening that aren't seeing the video, it's basically a picture of a man drowning and someone lifting him up and rescuing him. And this is actually it looks like the savior to me. And I just love that because I think back, you know, when my family was going through a really, really dark time, there were days and moments where I felt like I was absolutely drowning with the weight of what was going on in our family. And I wasn't sure how we were going to get through it. I just knew that somehow we were going to pull together, we were going to work through it. And there were some days where I felt utterly alone. And inevitably, one of two people would call me, my good friend Reed Young or my good friend and personal mentor Sean Hart. They would call me and say, "Hey, Jody, you're just on my mind. Is there something I can do for you?" And sometimes just having that call, man, it just gave me a spark of hope. It gave me a belief that I was being seen by God in the trenches of a very difficult time of my life. And it gave me a respite. And sometimes my friend Reed would say, "Hey, Jody, I'm coming over," or "Come over and help me turn a wrench and let's bend some metal," or "Let's hop in the convertibles and let's go race around Lake Lowell." And my friend Sean, man, he would call, and man, he would always just have such amazing insight for how God was moving in my life. In fact, he's the reason why I wrote my first book, Learn to Dance with the Currents of Life When You Feel Like You're Drowning. Because, dude, I had a really dark day. And he called me and said, "Jody, man, you're just on my heart. What can I do to help you?" And I'm like, "Dude, I feel like God's just completely abandoned me and my family." And after letting me get everything that was on my heart, in my mind out, I just dumped on him. And he said, "Jody, you need to learn to dance with the currents of life and trust that God has you and your family in his hands." And I've really appreciated that perspective because it's enabled me to look at life's challenges a little bit differently. And I think that one of the things that we have done horribly in our society, especially in America, is I mean, yes, I mean, we have this whole mentality of pull yourself up by the bootstraps and grind, grind, grind and make things happen, right? And I get that, right? There is a purpose and a reason to do that. But there's also we've also squashed men's ability to ask for help. I mean, you think about it. 70%, 70% of suicides are men between the ages of 35 and 60. What's going on? What's going on? If we have 70% of all suicides that are falling into the category of men ages 35 to 60, we are doing something wrong with men. We haven't enabled and empowered men to embrace their feelings and recognize them. But more importantly, we haven't empowered them to, and we haven't taught them how to deal with those emotions in a productive and helpful way. We just tell them, put on a good face, keep working, just it'll all work out, instead of going, dude, what's going on? How can I help you? How can I walk with you? Because sometimes you may not be able to carry the exact burden that somebody is going through, but you can be at their side and you can walk with them. You can pray with them. You can commiserate. You can celebrate with them. But somehow we have to learn how to each other, us men, to be able to go, you know what, today really sucked and I don't know how I'm getting through it. I don't know how I'm going to pay the rent. I don't know how I'm going to deal with my children that are struggling. How do I help them when I feel unappreciated and disrespected? And while I may not have the exact answer for you, I can share with you my perspective, my experience, my failures, my successes, and then allow you to use those in a way that benefits you. Because the things that I've done in my life, they may not be the perfect blueprint for you, but they could be adapted to your situation. And that's part of why I share these stories, why I have this podcast, because I think we as men haven't done a good job of creating a great community of brothers where we can turn to each other when we're really struggling and not feel like we're a loser, like we're a failure, because we have to raise our hand and go, you know what, I'm really struggling. I don't know how to get through this. Dude, I am in a dark spot. Can you and I just have a moment and let me unload everything that is in my heart? And you don't need to say anything, just your presence, just you being there can empower a man to move forward, to let him feel like he is seen, let him feel like he is heard. And until we get to the point where we're willing to extend a hand of friendship and of love, and we're willing to walk through the dark moments of frustration and loneliness with other men, we're always going to be wondering, what about me? When does God see me? When does he hear me? When does somebody see me? I'm over here busting my butt to try to support my family. I'm busting my butt to try to be a good father. I'm busting my butt to be a good husband, but it's never enough. And part of the reason why you feel like it's never enough is because you don't have any outlet to take care of you. And whenever I hear somebody say, you know what, I have nobody to turn to, that just breaks my heart, because everybody needs at least one person in their life that's in their corner, that recognizes that life isn't perfect, that you're not perfect, that I'm not perfect. And you know what, we're trying to figure this messy thing called life, this messy thing called family, and we're trying to figure it out. And sometimes I don't have all of the answers, but maybe something in your life that you've experienced can help me. And I am eternally grateful for men like Reed Young, Sean Hart, Mike Lewis. Oh man, the list goes. I have a really tight knit group that I know that in a heartbeat notice that I can call and go, man, I'm really frustrated. My good friend Sean Knuff, Shawnee the Kid on TikTok. Dude, I love these men. Antoine Brown, I can turn to these men and they will give me their love. They will give me their support. They will give me their ear. They will also call me on my crap and go, you know what, Jody? Yeah, I get why you're frustrated, but you're struggling because there's this aspect in your life that you're not letting go, that you're clinging to, that's holding you back. And until you release it, you're not going to move forward. And sometimes we got to shed stuff to make progress. I mean, you think about a rocket ship, when they launch the space shuttle, it's on this big old power booster and it's going up in the air. And as it's getting higher and higher, it loses pieces, it sheds pieces so that it can then propel forward. And sometimes we're not propelling forward because we're hanging on to things from yesterday. We're caught in the past instead of letting it go and going, you know what? That was yesterday. And I'm going to take the lessons from yesterday and I'm going to try to do everything that I can to improve who I am today so that I will become the man that I aspire and dream of. So, guys, I just really, really believe that we need to do a better job of not telling everybody to carry your own burdens. Man up. Just pull yourself up by the pull yourself up by the bootstraps and move forward. You got it. Grind, grind, grind. We got to create a space where we can go, you know what? Yes, I'm working hard, but man, today I'm really discouraged. Today I'm really sad. Today I'm really hurting. And I don't have all of the answers that I need. And maybe you don't, but maybe what you have is just a listening ear, a strong shoulder, and somebody that I can walk with through these dark moments. So anyway, just a couple thoughts that I've been thinking about. Man, we need to empower each other. And one of the best ways that we can empower each other is that if we quit being so judgmental, quit being so harsh, quit being so negative and going, you should do it this way. Well, you know what? You're not walking through their shoes. You're not facing the challenges that they're doing. Dude, I remember I used to take great pride in the dad that I was. And then I adopted kids, and dude, I got a whole new set of challenges. And these whole new set of challenges, they revealed the ugly in me, but they also revealed the beautiful and strong in me. And I had to recognize that the way that I had parented before was not going to work now. And so I had to become a better father than I was before. I had to shed some of those characteristics of being impatient and short and learn how to be long suffering, empathetic, and understanding. I had to learn how to shut my mouth. I had to learn how to open my heart and go, you know what? You're coming at me from a place of pain, and I need to learn how to be the punching bag so that you can work through your trauma. And then what's that leave me? All beat up? Yeah, some days it left me pretty beat up. But I had a trusted circle of friends that when I really needed to, when I was really discouraged, I could turn to and go, guys, I need a brother. I need a friend. I need someone who will carry this burden with me. I know you can't take it off my shoulders. It's still on my, but man, can you just give me a respite by just being present, by just being there, by just being my friend and brother? Guys, I hope that you have someone like that in your life. If not, and you need a listening ear, dude, reach out to me. I will gladly be the person that you need. I will gladly listen and cry with you and anguish with you and work through it with you. I may not have all of the answers, but I will walk with you and love you through the process. So, anyway, just a few thoughts. Let's carry one another's burden. What, how can I say that? Let's carry each other's burdens. Let's don't be a burden on someone else by being judgmental and going, you should do this, you should do that. Instead, let's be the wind beneath their wings. Literally, I love that song. Well, I don't love the song, but I love the verse, right? It's like the wind beneath the wings that lifts and carries someone forward as they're moving through some very challenging times. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much for tapping in. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And guess what? My wife is going through my second. It's all about faith and how we tend, in my opinion, we tend to oversimplify faith and just kind of brush off and dismiss a lot of people with the words, oh, just have faith. God's got you. When faith really requires you to dig deeper and to lean into faith, to lean into trust. And sometimes that can be very, very challenging. And I try to talk about that in my book. So look forward to that. My wife's putting the final read on it. And then I hope to, knock on wood, I'll have it ready for Valentine's Day. But if not, it'll be this spring sometime. So anyway, thank you guys so much for tapping in. And we will check you same time, same bat channel, just next week. See ya.